rather than just a normal Clutch Group team meeting, we wanted to open it up to a lot of different folks. People who are part of our organization at EXP are here. We've got Kelly and Brian's team, Team Sage, here as well, and then a bunch of guests who are going to share with us some awesome resources today. So, the basic principle is Jeremy on our team does all of our listings in Phoenix, for example. He shows up to a listing appointment, and he tours around the house, does his thing, and then goes through a presentation. They come up with some price that they think the house will sell for. And he goes, okay, great. Now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take this back to my institutional buyers. We have several institutional buyers we're working with, and I'm going to see if any of them have a price that you'd be really happy with. And maybe we could get you a deal done with a cash buyer. You close anytime you want, and it's a done deal. A few minor inspections, nothing big. We don't have to take pictures. Nobody trouncing through your house, no problemo. He goes back, gets offers. Oftentimes those offers are better than in this market. It's not always going to be this way, but right now in this market, offers are better than what him and the client came up with. They thought they could sell for 400 and they got an offer for 450.
I'm the head of partnerships for HomeLight here in San Diego, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see all your faces today and tell you about these programs, because I think we're going to make you excited about working with buyers again, right? So
yeah.
Sometimes it's tough, right? You got a buyer lead and you're like, son of a bitch, another buyer lead. Like, I want to work with listings, but I don't want to be a listings agent. But with buyers, we'll make you excited about working with buyers. And then we're also going to make you excited about working with listings, those people that say that I don't want to list my home unless I know where to go, right? So those are some problems in this market. You guys agree? Okay.
Yes.
So just to give you a little background about HomeLight. So HomeLight.com started about 9 years ago. And the way we started was a referral platform. So consumers could come to the platform and say, I want to work with the top producing agent in my area. They go through a quiz flow, and then we identify the top producer in the area, and then we introduce that consumer to that top producer, and then they close a deal. So our lead platform is really, really good. We close at about a 28% rate. And I think if you look at like Zillow, they close at about 4 to 7%. So if you look at between the high intention between any other platform to our platform, we close at a lot higher percentage. Okay, so people know why they're coming to HomeLight, and they're coming because they know for a fact that HomeLight will provide them the top agent in their zip code. Okay, but in early 2020, we realized that our top producers needed a little bit of help, because there's a lot of platforms out there that are trying to take business away from the agents, right? And there's platforms that are trying to minimize the agents. And so HomeLight, we're trying to defend the agents with tools and resources to help you close more deals. So everything that we do with HomeLight is to help you close more deals and defend the agent, never trying to take business away from you. So the first thing that we came up with is our simple HomeLight home loans program. Okay, and we only work right now with about 25 teams in San Diego County. So these are very exclusive programs, meaning that we don't provide these just to anybody and everybody. It's a strategic relationship that John Glutch has. We made an agreement, and he's a part of that relationship. And today's the first day I'm able to introduce these programs to the team. Okay, so HomeLight Home Loans, we're gonna power you with this program. And what this program is we're actually gonna underwrite all your clients within 24 hours. Okay, we're gonna have an underwriter that will physically look at the file and approve your loan. Okay, not pre-approved, not pre-qualified, but actually approve your loan. And what that does is now you as the agent can go out there and write no financing contingency on your RPAs, which is huge. You guys agree?
Yeah.
So your client's going to feel very, very confident about that no financing contingency, because we're going to guarantee their earnest money deposit up to $100,000. So who has clients that actually produces more than $100,000 in their EMD? Anybody? Right? It's very rare, right? Yeah. So pretty much everything, all the EMD is going to be covered and insured. Okay, so for some reason, if we can't do the loan at the end of the loan when we said we could do the loan, we're going to cut them a check for whatever they lost in the earnest money deposit. Do you think the client's going to feel comfortable with that? Right? They're going to go in and say, put 3, 4%, 5% EMD, because we know that it's protected, and the more EMD that we put, the stronger the offer is going to be. Right? So those are two things that are going to help you close more deals: no financing contingency, and then also insuring the EMD. A couple things that your client's going to feel really good about is that we're going to pay for every single appraisal. So your client's going to feel good about that because they don't have to pay for that appraisal, right? If you look at the good faith estimate, of any other lender, you're going to see points, origination fees, you're going to see underwriting fees and processing fees. You're not going to see that with us, okay? We don't charge any fees. It's a no-fee loan whatsoever, okay? And our rates are really, really competitive. So you can feel comfortable knowing that your client's going to get a really good rate at a really competitive mortgage that is actually going to help you win deals. So do you guys agree that clients always try to rate shop, right? Like, let me rate shop, right? But the rate is not going to help them win the deal. You guys agree with that, right? So your job as the agent is to provide them the tools and educate them about the market and how crazy this market is, and say, hey, look, you might be with another mortgage broker, but I know another guy at HomeLight that will actually be more competitive, that will actually help us win the deal. So then you're going to refer them over to HomeLight. We don't do FHA, we don't do VA, we don't do any refinances, okay? Right now, we simply do conventional. So 700 credit score or above, they get they get 5% down, it's a little 5% down. And then anything below the 700 credit score, the down payment goes up, okay? Up to 20% if they have like a 620 or something like that.
Fassi, on those deals, when you're writing the contract, can you, as part of the contract contingencies, not release the earnest money, but make it so that the earnest money is not refundable right away? You know, like technically you're waiving the financing contingency, right? That's fine. But are you guys okay with us saying, you know, earnest money is non-refundable, basically?
Not refundable to the client?
To the, unless the seller breaches, the earnest money is going to go, if the buyer breaches for any reason, the earnest money goes to the seller.
The earnest money goes to the seller?
Yeah.
We're okay with that. It's really going to be up to you and your client and how comfortable they are.
Yeah.
So we are comfortable with that, though, right?
Okay, great.
So any questions revolving around the loan?
That's powerful.
Very powerful. You guys agree?
Yeah.
You guys like this?
Yeah.
All right, you guys excited about working with buyers? All right, sounds good. So another program. Okay, we got two programs. This is the beginner's program right here. Okay, we have a more advanced program. So if you go into the market and you say, hey, look, we're already approved for the mortgage, right? Automatically, we approve all your buyers for cash. We make them cash buyers. So if you see a home that you think you could win the deal with just simply removing the financing contingency, then do that, right? But if your client says, oh my God, like this home right here, I have to win this home, then we know what? Cash is king, correct? Right? So we can make your buyers cash buyers. So they're approved for the loan, they're automatically approved to be cash buyers. The way this works is that if they want to make an offer on a property all cash, closing as little as 8 days, they let you know, they let us know, we'll actually buy the home for the client all cash, closing as little as 8 days. And we simply sell it back to them using our mortgage program that you see right there. Because we already approved them for the mortgage, right? We charge a 1% fee for that. So if you look at our mortgage, we don't have any origination fees, right? We don't have any processing fees, no underwriting fees. It's a fee-less mortgage. But then now we're just saying if you want to use our cash, we'll charge 1% origination fee. Does that make sense? So if they want to buy $1 million home, then it's a $10,000 fee to use our cash. So we are the buyers of that home. You're the real estate agent that we include you in the transaction. We don't do it on our own. You write up the RPA and you represent HomeLight as your buyer. We'll buy it full cash, close in as little as 8 days, and after we do that, we sell it back to your client, and they go through a 21-day escrow for that. So in 29 days, they get their house.
And that's same terms, right? Meaning there's no FHA, no VA.
No FHA, no VA. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you that we don't turn away VA clients at all, right? So we don't do VA loans, but for some reason, if they're not as competitive, we know this VA clients are not as competitive out there in the marketplace right now, we will allow them to use our cash at a 1% fee and use their VA loan officer for the cash.
Wow.
Is that strong?
That's great.
So they gave me that information like a week ago, and they said, don't advertise it because we lose money on this. And I said, I'm going to advertise it. I didn't tell them that. I'm going to advertise it, right? So I want to see this happen. I want to see some veterans win some deals out there. So we're going to make that happen for veterans.
And just something to point out, something to talk about with your buyers is that you can typically save the 1% on the home purchase anyway.
Absolutely.
Because if offers are 2% above, you can go 1% below that and close in 8 days.
Mm-hmm.
If it fits, just having that information. So just something to talk about with the buyers. If for some reason someone were to pop up and be like, well, I don't want to pay 1%, you can A, do that, but B,
Yeah.
also talk about that same home after it closes is already worth 3% more than what whoever offered on it 30 days ago. So
Absolutely, Kelly.
So you're already
absolutely.
saving money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of success programs. So the thing is this, is that you could use any one of these programs, right? The mortgage program, let me do this. You can use the mortgage program or you can use the cash offer program, okay? You can use either one of these programs. But if you suck at being a real estate agent, you're not gonna win, right? You're not gonna win the deal. And that's true, right? I mean, I work with a lot of real estate agents because we work with big teams, right? We work with huge teams, right? All the top producing teams, Kyle Whissel, Daniel Beard, Mark Pattison, right? John Glutch, Kelly Gilson, right? You guys are all gonna be huge. You guys just started building your team, Kelly, right? You just started building your team in San Diego, but you already did, what, 50 deals in 7 months? Which everyone really hates you already. I don't know, right? I'm throwing out a number. I don't know how many deals you did, okay? But everyone's gonna hate you guys because you guys are gonna come up, you guys are gonna crush it, and everyone's gonna be passed, right? For example, Kyle Whissel, right? Brought on Mark Pattison. You guys see what Mark Pattison's done so far?
Yeah.
He's done over like 500 deals so far this
Yeah,
year.
beat Kyle. Yeah.
Right? And he's beating Kyle.
Yeah.
He's beating Daniel, right? He's beating Zandra, he's beating everybody in units, right? And he just started his team, what, 3 years ago? So this is gonna be you guys, right? I want it to be you guys. And the way you're gonna get there is listen to the resources that John and Kelly is gonna provide you and use these resources to close more deals. So Kyle Whissel does probably 5 to 10 of these deals every single month, okay? So these are deals that he wouldn't have done unless he had this program, right? So what I mean by these programs do not work unless you work is that you have to be able to you got to trust yourself, right? You got to train yourself on how to be a good negotiator, right? So first of all, you got to build trust with your client, right? Because your client doesn't trust you, they're not going to listen to anything you say, right? And then second, you got to build trust with the listing agent to make these work. And if the listing agent trusts you and you sold them on your client and you sold them on yourself, they're going to tell you whatever you need to hear to win that deal, right? Because they want to work with you. Because they're going to get 25 calls about their from other realtors that say, I want to put an offer on this property, but a lot of those realtors are probably going to be idiots, right? And then there's only be a couple of realtors that really know what they're talking about, and the ones that they really know what they're talking about, which is going to be you guys, are going to have a better chance of winning the deal. But then also, if you have these programs where you're saying, hey, look, my client is going to have no financing contingency, right? Then like, oh shit, send it over. That sounds more competitive than anybody else, right? Or my client could be a cash buyer and close in as little as 8 days. Oh shit, send that shit over because I want to work with you on that one, right? So, but if you don't know how to negotiate, none of these things work. You guys agree?
Yeah.
Okay? Because realistically, more than anything, a listing agent wants to know that they're working with somebody that's going to go to the end with them, right? And you can have whatever offer on the table. If they think you're an idiot, they're not going to want to work with you, whatever offer you have, right? So one thing you want to learn is don't be an idiot, right? That's all it is, right? So here we go. So I don't need to preach that to you guys, but that's kind of part of my presentation. So you guys excited about two of those programs?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now we have listing presentations, listing sites, right? We're going to get you guys more listings, right? If you guys market these correctly, you guys will get more listings. It's going to give you a menu of options when you go into a listing appointment. Who's a listing agent around here? Okay. So some teams are different, right? So you got buyer's agents, you got listing agents. So that's good. You guys could do both. Not all teams allow you to do that, so that's pretty amazing. So this program, you sell it traditional way, right? You go into a listing appointment, there's 2 ways to sell it, right? You say, hey, if you want to buy another house, we can go write offers on your future home, contingent on you selling on your turn, and then what's going to happen there? It's like, no, that's a non-starter, right? But then B, you're going to say, oh, you know what? Let's sell your home first, right? Let's start removing contingencies, and then we remove the last contingency. Then we can start making offers on your future home to get into contract for a future home, not contingently on selling your current one, right? That's how you guys are mostly doing it right now, correct? But what happens is it puts your buyer with extreme anxiety because they know there's nothing out there in the market that they really want to buy, and they got this big laundry list of what they want to buy, and then you have a very short period of time to really get them in the home. They don't want to be homeless, and so you start selling them a home, something that you never thought you would sell them. You guys agree? right? So like, they thought they're gonna live in that high rise in downtown, and now they're living in, I don't know, San Ysidro, right? Because they're like, I just don't want to be homeless, right? So who lives in San Ysidro? Nobody? All right. So this program actually bridges that gap, okay? This is gonna help you with those clients that are really, really nervous. So does this have a
I think so.
figure? Let's check it out.
We'll explore together.
And if it doesn't, then
Hi, I'm Magneta.
And I'm Brent, and we bought our home through Light Cash Flows. When we decided to move, there were a couple issues, but there was one big glaring issue, and that was the fact that we already owned a home. We weren't going to be able to buy a new home without first selling our old home. HomeLight purchased our old home from us. They did this so that we could free up funds that allowed us to purchase our new home. Once we had found the new home, we continued to work with the HomeLight team and HomeLight Home Loans on financing the new home. We were able to make an extremely strong offer, and we were able to close within 30 days, which is kind of unheard of when you consider all of the different moving pieces involved.
Using HomeLight is kind of like shopping on Amazon. You don't have to go to a bunch of different stores to try to find what you're looking for. You just make a few clicks and find what you need, and you're done.
2/3 of buyers have to sell their current residence in order to purchase their new residence. And so usually what you have to do is you have to make the choice. Am I going to sell my property first and then feel pressure to buy another property? Or am I going to go buy a property right now and have to pay more for the property because I'm contingent upon the sale, and then also feel pressured of selling my property, might end up selling for less because I have to get it sold in order to make that purchase.
Once the sale was through, HomeLight wrote us a check for the difference.
That's right, HomeLight actually gave us the difference between what they bought our old home for and what it sold for on the open market. Nobody else would have done that.
a high five though,
This was the best.
right?
This is as ideal as it could possibly be.
It's definitely the biggest change in real estate that I've seen in my career.
So those two are San Diego agents. Does anybody know their names? Nobody? All right, so that's Laura and Jordan Clark. They do business out in Encinitas, and they were actually the first agents that partnered with us to do that program. So they did the commercial. But anyone that goes through this program with us, if they want us to shoot a commercial, a testimonial video just like that for their clients and themselves, we're willing to do that. Just ask, right? So it's high quality commercial video for any of our clients. So you guys kind of get the gist of it? Okay, so I'm going to kind of explain it a little bit, right? So the way you want to explain it to your client is you could say, hey, look, I could list it traditionally, which I already talked about, right? Or you could buy before you sell. Okay, that's really what it is. It's a trade-in program, but it's a buy before you sell program. So the way it works is that we work with you as the agent, and you tell us exactly what the comparables are on the market. You tell us exactly what you would sell the home for on the open market. We give them an initial offer. This is the first offer. We give them two checks, okay? This is the first check. Initial offer is 90 cents on the dollar, okay? So we say we will buy your home right now. Not right now, but when you're ready for 90 cents on the dollar, okay? This right here, we're guaranteeing that we'll buy the home. They're not guaranteeing that they're gonna sell the home to us, okay? So they have a guaranteed offer right now, okay? Now, they can feel comfortable going with you as your real estate agent to actually go search for the home of their dreams, right? They can take as long as they want. They want to buy a home tomorrow, they want to buy a home in a year, it doesn't matter, this offer doesn't expire, right? It just gets updated. So in a year's time, their home is worth more than it is today, so we'll just update the offer at 90 cents on the dollar based on what the market looks like, right? So what happens is they get into contract of their future home, they remove contingencies, right? They remove the inspection, the financing, the appraisal. 2 days before they close on this deal, that's when we actually fund the deal 90 cents on the dollar. We fund the deal, we pay off their loan balance, they have money from that 90 cents on the dollar to actually put a down payment on their future home. They close on their future home, they move out into their future home, and then now we work with you to sell their home, okay? So we don't get in the way of the commission that you charge. You charge whatever commission you want to charge. Okay? So in the beginning of all this, you already negotiate exactly, when I sell your home, client, how much commission are you going to give me? 6, 7, 8%, doesn't matter. You guys decide that on your own, right? Some of our partners are charging more than the average commission because this is a convenience for their client, and they're one of the few people that actually have this program in their tool belt. So they're charging more, okay? So They negotiate the commissions. Also, just like how you would normally tell your client what to do to get their home and get top dollar for the property, you're still doing that, right? You're saying, hey, when you move out, you're probably gonna need to paint the inside of your house, right? You probably wanna stage it because, you know, it's vacant, right? So you do all that type of stuff, right? They agree, and if they agree to that, we give you the budget that they agreed on, so you can paint or stage the home, right? You put on the open market, you sell the home for top dollar, and then our first initial offer was 90 cents on the dollar, right? Normally, you sell the home for, on average, about 110% of value. That's what we normally see with this program. So you got 20% left that we haven't paid the home seller yet, right? So obviously, we pay your commissions, we pay closing costs. HomeLight charges 1.5% convenience fee, so if it's $1 million home, it's $15,000 for this program, right? And then we cut them a second check for whatever the upside is. So the only additional fee that they're ever paying than selling it traditionally is 1.5%. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions on this program?
Kind of like a bridge loan. Kind of like you fund them and then sell the home.
So yes, so no, because we fund them, we buy the home from them. So it's a similar to bridge, but bridge loans are it's harder to qualify for a bridge loan, right?
Yeah.
So the way we determine whether or not this qualifies for the trade-in program is it easily comparable, right? Is there other homes in the market that we know for a fact when we buy this home, can we sell it fast?
And you're doing the loan on these, right?
We do the loan.
This requires you to use a HomeLight.
So HomeLight buys the home,
Yeah.
right? And then we sell it with you, and then we do the loan for their future home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the mortgage that we just talked about.
It's like a bridge loan, but the huge benefit is you get to sell the house vacant, staged, and painted.
Yep.
You get to dial it in before you list it.
So again, your client, right? So whenever you talk, so what happens when you talk to your clients, you know, anytime that there's something new, clients are like, I don't want to do anything new, right? So again, you have to be a good real estate agent, and you got to know what your programs that you're talking to your clients about. So realistically, all I really want our partners to say, and this is what they say in all our partnerships, is, hey, I have a program where you could actually buy your future home before you sell your current one. And the client's like, okay, well, tell me more about that. Great. Well, we in San Diego have these beautiful young men right there. I'm one of them. You see that? That guy right there? I mean, that doesn't even look like me, does it? Okay, whatever, like that. So this guy right here, John Labrada, right? He's your client manager that is assigned for this team, okay? So he only works with a few teams here in San Diego County. This is the guy that you're gonna introduce your clients to. So if they say that, yes, I wanna learn more about it, you set up an appointment with him. He has a Calendly link, right? So most of the time, if you have someone today, he's gonna have appointment available for today. So he doesn't work 8 to 5, so he's done 8 p.m. appointments on Zoom, right? So 8, 9 p.m. appointments. It doesn't matter. This guy gets paid on commission, right? So this guy gets paid like you guys get paid, so he's here for you guys, okay? So what he's gonna do is he's gonna help you, and he's gonna present to your client exactly what this program means to them as far as their house. He's gonna show them their house, exactly what their home is worth, the whole net sheet, and what it's gonna look like if they decide to use the trade-in program. So you don't have to sell this program because we're going to help you sell it, right? So that's your guy right there, okay? This is your loan officer too as well, Levine. So he's the guy that is assigned to this team. He doesn't do refinances, he doesn't do VAs, FHAs. He simply works with strategic partners here in San Diego to help them with their loan needs. So he's not busy with refinances. He's not busy doing all. His whole focus is partnerships that I bring to him in San Diego. Okay, so that's your guy right there. And that guy just looks good. He just wants to buy you breakfast and eventually buy you a drink. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what it is. So with this program right here is buy before you sell.
Yeah, and you guys don't want to try to explain this.
You don't try to explain.
Like you mess this up. So it'd be way better off to understand the fundamentals, which is I have a partner who can buy your house cash so that you can purchase the next one. And I'm pretty convinced that you're actually going to end up making more money with this program than you would without it. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
That's the whole pitch.
That's it.
Well, you're
Get them on the phone with the right person.
and you're walking in saying, I already have an offer for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already have an offer, and so it's a guarantee, and you kind of went over it pretty quick, but guaranteed buyer does not mean they have to sell to them.
Yes.
Right.
So there's no reason that they shouldn't not use you because you already have a guaranteed offer.
Yep.
That's
So-
not going to cost them any extra money.
So what we do, what I've been trying to communicate to my partners about this, because some of my partners do this, and this is a great strategy, right? Doesn't matter if your client decides to say, you know what, I'll sell traditionally. That's all, I want to sell traditionally because this is new, I don't want to do anything new. That's fine. Still get them approved for this program, right? Because it's going to take you a couple weeks before you put it on the market, right? It does normally take you a couple weeks at least before you sign the contract and you put something on the market. So you got 2 weeks time, 2-3 weeks time that you're going to prepare the home for market. They got to pack some stuff up. So in the process, say, you know what, I know you don't want to use this program, but let's get you approved for this program anyway. Because during the time of now to the time we actually put it on the market, if there's a home that you see that you absolutely want to make an offer on, then now we have a program that you could do that, right? Because if you tell traditionally, then I'm going to say, sorry, we could put an offer on that property, but it's continuing selling this one. It's probably not going to work, right? So let's go get you approved for this program anyway, even if you decide not to use it. The worst case scenario is that you don't, for us, it's all best case scenario, right? So the worst case scenario is that you don't use the program, HomeLight doesn't get a deal, which is fine, we're here to help you, right? But the best case scenario is they find a home, they see a home that they want to make an offer on, and now they have this in their back pocket. And then also the worst case scenario for us is that we pay for a home inspection for your client, right? Because we're going to pay a free home inspection during the trade-in approval process. And now when you list the home, you have a free home inspection to show all the buyers for the home, right? So that's good. Good.
How long is the trade-in approval process?
5 days.
5 days?
Yeah.
And then does this also work for out-of-state clients that are moving out of state? So
Yeah.
they use HomeLight?
So yeah, so we only offer these programs. Then they don't have to use our mortgage to go buy another home. They still can use this at 1.5%.
Are you, any update on Arizona?
They say the 15th of August, so I'll make a phone call after this. Yeah. So
The first step is that John, was that the guy on the far left, our contact?
yeah.
Is it, do we send him an email with comps, the address, and say, hey, we want to present this to the seller?
Yeah, so you don't even need to do that right now, right? So all you need to do is say, hey, look, John, you could even, because I'll send you his Calendly link. So if you want to use his Calendly, just say, I want to book an appointment for me and my client, we'll get on Zoom, right?
But is that first call, is he going to give the first offer on the first
So
call?
no, so then he'll give you a call and he'll tell you what he needs to have the presentation. But yes, so all he wants from you initially, until we get into the weeds of things, is he wants us to say, hey, what do you think the home's worth? Okay, so if it's $1 million, okay, great. You think you sell it for $1 million? Great. So I'm going to show them, if we determine that the home is worth $1 million, then we're going to give you $900,000 as your first initial offer, and it's going to break down what the net sheet looks like. So, but then if you're after the initial call, your client obviously there's no obligation, right? So after the initial call, if your client decides to move forward with the program based on what the education that you provided to your client, then that's when he's going to be like, okay, send me comps, let's order an inspection. But we don't need to do all that groundwork until the client says, yes, I want to get it approved, right? So we want to make it very, very easy on you just to introduce your client to us, give us some basic information, and then we'll educate your client about the program.
What's your price ceiling? Sorry.
So we've done up to $4 million.
That was my question.
But realistically, it's up to $2 million is like where we like it to be, but we've made exceptions.
Awesome.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Got 700 credit score, right?
No, so no, this one, no, 620 or above.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so all our conventional loans, we can do everything 620 or above.
Got it.
Okay? So, last program.
Boss, say I have a house here in San Diego and I want to buy in Arizona. You'll still buy the home here,
Yep.
figure it out the Arizona.
Yeah, so Arizona, so right now we're not in Arizona, right? So we'll do the trading program right here for you. Once you find a home in Arizona, you get approved by another lender because we don't have any loan products in Arizona. Then we buy the home when you tell us that you're ready to close on your other home, right? And then we do the whole process here. We still charge a 1.5% fee because we don't have loan products in Arizona yet. But if you choose to use another lender, and if you're in San Diego, you choose to use another lender, the price does go up, right? So if you say, oh, I want to use my mom or my dad or my cousin that's a lender, then we charge 3.5% rather than 1.5%, which is huge, right? So it's a no-brainer just to come with us, because even though our loan is going to be more competitive anyway, right? No other lender's doing no financing contingency out there right now that I know of. I want to learn. If there is, then great. It's awesome. So last program, Simple Sale Plus. So what this program is for is obviously if you have, there's iBuyers out there that are trying to take your business and trying to buy homes and not include you on the deal, right? And so this is a tool that you can use, and you can be an iBuyer as a real estate agent, okay? So if you see a home that your client says, I just want a cash offer, and we know there's iBuyers out there that are giving way more than what we're giving right now, but sometimes they're not, right? So at least you have something in your back pocket, okay? So 90 cents on the dollar is what we'll give, okay? So right now we're not buying any fix and flips. We're simply buying pretty much turnkey homes that they just want out, right? So if you have somebody that says, I just want a cash offer, you tell us exactly what the home would sell for on the open market, we'll give them 90 cents on the dollar, no additional fees. So if it's $1 million home, it's $900,000 check that we'll give them. No additional fees, no acquisition fees, no relist fees, none of that stuff. It's $900,000. And then we'll give you a 3% budget to hire your own contractors to spruce up the home, right? So if it's $1 million home, $30,000. So it's not that much. So you got to make sure that you could work with a 3% budget before this program works for you, right? So, and then we give you a 2 to 3% commission for selling it, right? So it's performance based. So if you sell it for less than what you told us that you would sell it for, we give you 2%. If you sell it for more, then we'll give you 3%. And then there's 2.5% co-op that we do the buyer's aid. So ultimately, if you double into it, you can get up to 5.5% selling that property. So the margins are very, very low that we have. But we do it, we have a ton of programs to help our agents and defend them. We keep our margins very, very low so your clients don't run away from these things, right? Any questions?
And the criteria are the same on the previous program as far as homes you'll purchase, right?
Yeah,
like
criteria is the
move-up
same.
program, like you're not going to buy a house that's all beat up, you know.
Yeah, so it could be an old home, it could be an older home. Like sometimes we're like, what's a fixer to you guys, right? It could be a very old home, but it's just well taken care of.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Yeah, so the trade-up program is not going to work for a house, and everything's broken,
Yeah.
it's just a disaster.
Just a disaster, yeah, we're not gonna do that.
That's what you call
No.
Brian.
Yes, so you have options, right? That's what this whole thing's all about, is you guys have options and resources in your back pocket, more options than most real estate agents out there.
Yeah.
Okay, to help you be successful. So learn about your resources. Obviously, I don't have the only presentation here. Learn what's gonna work for your client and sell more homes, right? That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What's the time frame for this one?
This one right here?
Yeah.
Time frame to close?
Yeah.
We can close in like 4 days. Yeah. So the time frame to get an offer, we do take a little bit longer for this one. We take like 48 hours to get you a true offer, right? So.
And it's got to be delivered vacant.
Yeah.
Have tenants.
Yeah, no tenants or anything like that. Yeah. Nobody wants to deal with that right now.
No, and so how I've been explaining this is, hey, 90 cents on the dollar right away. You know, you can kind of see the sellers just drop. But I say, if you look at a traditional agent, they're going to charge you 5 to 6%. Escrow and title is going to be another 1.5%. Buyers are going to come in and ask for 1 to 2% in repairs. So now you're down to 92%, and that takes time. You know, this is a 10-day option. So it's just, again, presenting options. I'm not here to tell you what's best for you and your family. It's just an option. Just an option. And they just love having those options.
And as a listing agent, you guys walk into those appointments, who are they going to choose? The person with what everyone else is saying?
Right.
Or the person that has options for them? And maybe they just decide to sell it traditionally anyway, but they see you as being more knowledgeable and more of an expert in your market because you have more options for them, so they're going to choose you.
And all I say is, hey, let's use this as a backup option.
Yeah.
I'm writing an offer for you right now. Here's a backup option. We can go on the market, test the market, and if it doesn't work out, now you have this backup option.
Absolutely.
So they're just more reasons of, oh, well, I'm already working with you because you're presenting buyers up front.
Yep. So, go ahead.
2 questions follow up on that. So one is there no closing costs for the seller in this program? And then 2, is there a rent back for the seller?
So no closing costs in this program, no, right? And we can do up to a 30-day rent back.
Because they have a title, escrow title, okay.
Yeah, we have escrow title, yep. So we buy it, we close them with our own escrow. So another question that you might even ask too as well, for the trade-in program, right? There's two legs of the trade-in. We buy it, right? And then we sell it. So that means there's 2 escrows, right? So we actually cover the cost for the first escrow. We eat that cost. Yeah. And then we charge a 1.5% fee. So realistically, are we making a lot of money on this stuff? Are we making any money, right? So the answer is probably not very much money right now, right? So there you go. And then also on the cash buyer program. So we buy the home for cash, 1 escrow, and then we sell it back to them using the mortgage. There's 2 escrows, right? We only charge 1% fee for that, and we cover the closing costs on the first leg of the transaction. So your client never pays two sets of closing costs at all. We cover everything.
And the rent back, is that like a set cost, or is it free? Or
For the rent back, I gotta look to see. I think it would just be like a normal, like a PIT ad. We would actually see exactly what the range would be, and then we would give them that. I don't think it's gonna be for free. No. Any other questions?
Awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys.
Good stuff.
All right.
For those of you who don't know Brian Daly's become a great friend, and he and I connected through our mutual mentor, Darren Hardy, who Brian used to run his company, which is pretty cool, and has a ton of history in the fix and flip world, and has done a really good job. I've done some investing with Brian. Just a stand-up guy, takes good care of the people he buys homes for, creates beautiful homes to sell. Really fantastic stuff. So he is going to share what he's up to, and I'll try to give you guys, I think the presenters will do the same too, but I'll try to give you guys some different, is this the beginning? Yeah. Okay. So some different handles on the different differences between these three programs. But one of the big ones, of course, with Brian is that he's really neither Open Door nor HomeLight are interested in purchasing big-time fixtures. That's not what they do. And their buy box, the type of properties they buy, will have some narrow ranges that he's not going to have. So his opportunities are going to be kind of for any kind of property. So I'll let you explain a little bit more, but that's one of the big differences between him and what these other guys are doing. So welcome up, Brian. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Thank you. Full disclosure, second time I've given this presentation, and last time I did it, I was on Zoom, so I had all my cheat sheets. So I don't have any of those today. John's throwing me in the fire. Like John said, I'm gonna talk very, very little about me and our company. I'm just gonna start off just giving you some background on what we do. I'm gonna focus more today on the mindset. John and Kelly and the rest of the team, they've done a really, really great job of giving you guys resources. I don't know about you, but I sometimes get overwhelmed with options, just like any consumer and just like any professional that needs to be able to explain options. My hope today is to help you guys wrap your head around why it's worth the effort. In case you haven't figured that out already, I don't know, before I did the research required to help me feel really good about our business model, I used to go to bed with anxiety because we do a risky thing in taking on big projects. After I did the research, I sleep like a baby, and I'll help show you why I think what you guys are hearing today with us as an option, and Facio and Open Door as well, is going to be here for a while. So this is an example of what we do. As John said, we do major construction. We are, I like to kind of explain it, we're like between Open Door and your local developer that only does a few projects at a time. Our average construction job is about $90,000 now in San Diego. So it's not small. This one was in Golden Hill. We do small projects as well, but we understand there's more options when it comes to small projects, and these type of projects have kind of been our difference maker. So we fully leaned into it. We brought in construction in-house. We have our own construction company. We employ over 100 foremen and crew, and right now we have about 45 active jobs in San Diego. And we do, those two examples were larger jobs. This is an example of just kind of a starter home here in San Diego. It was about $70,000 rehab. So again, after this, I'm not going to talk as much about us, but I will say that I'm obviously very confident in what we do. The difference maker between, I guess, us and Open Door, other than or the other iBuyer options out there, other than the fact that we just take on jobs that they aren't equipped for at this point, is we do everything in our power to make it a one inspection deal. It's a non-contingent offer with our acquisition person and construction person at the first meeting, offer within 24 hours, and it's done. It's as long as we've got full disclosure of everything that we need to know about that property. It's not a come back, get an inspection report, and there's things that we didn't know about, so we're going to change that off. We typically, as you would imagine, we typically though focus on the properties that are just a little bit more beat up. That's my family. I thought I took that slide out, but I didn't. They're friggin' adorable though, aren't they? All right. So
we're doing business with you, couldn't sell a family photo.
Title, which is kind of funny because we got big tech here. Be big tech, win more listings. Don't fight disruption, learn from it, capitalize on it. Again, I'm going to focus a little bit on mindset here, more at least at the beginning. So I want to outline the presentation real quick. Is I want to put in your head a way to view disruption. When iBuyers came out a few years ago, I remember how freaked out a lot of real estate agents were in the social media channels and whatnot. A lot of people I talked to still are. And they're worried that they're going to be replaced. And I want to help you look at it in a different light. I want you to understand that we shouldn't fight trends. We need to lean into them. And specifically today, we're going to focus on sellers, since that's kind of what we're talking about here in the iBuyer world. And in order to win, you just need to shift your focus. So this is what I imagine the typical real estate agent looks like when they see the word disruption. Now, you guys are in this room. I think you view it differently, but we're scared little kids when change comes. And I want to implore that I think we should look more like Morpheus. I think disruption is disruption, changing of the guard or changing of things, how things have been done before, is a sign that you need to look at that trend and adapt with it. And a lot of people in our industry, because if you do well, you make good money, and you kind of get in a rhythm, right? A lot of people in our industry just fight it because it means that they have to do more work. And that's why companies like Open Door exist, because we as a real estate industry fight this trend to do a better job serving the consumer. It's not about the real estate agent, it's about the consumer. And these companies have come up with all these fantastic programs because consumers wanted options. Consumers wanted something different than the traditional sales process. And that's just the start. This is like a year old. And that's a picture of the companies that are out there. I don't even know if HomeLight's on here. I think this is before HomeLight, which can just tell you, like, look how big HomeLight is, look how successful they are, look how cool their programs are, and they're not, oh no, hey, I lied, I'm sorry. Hey, HomeLight, you're there.
They were there, good.
But there are a ton more since this thing came out. This was put out by that John Burns, I think. Anyway, the really big real estate thought leadership. By the end of this presentation, you're going to think I have a man crush on Jeff Bezos. I kind of do, at least from the standpoint of business strategy. But the success of his company has changed our world. And this is the way he looks at it. What we need to do is always lean into the future when the world changes around you and when it changes against you. What used to be a tailwind is now a headwind. You have to lean into that and figure out what to do, because complaining isn't the strategy. Unfortunately, in real estate, actually, fortunately for everybody in this room, most people think complaining is the strategy. This is, consumers deal with people. They're doing a seller is doing business with people. They do business with people they trust. They don't do business with the corporate logo. This is why the real estate agent is safe as long as they learn to adapt. We have an edge that all the marketing in the world from these big companies can't solve. They still have to have somebody in the field go face to face with a seller, in this case, and build the trust and rapport for them to be able to make one of the biggest decisions in their life. So, I think about LegalZoom all the time when I think of disruption and how freaked out the attorney space was that the LegalZoom was going to come in and replace lawyers. Now it replaced some lawyers, that's for sure, but it replaced the ones that would only do the work that a algorithm could do for them. It replaced the ones that refused to change and update itself with current standards that consumers expected. There's more freaking attorneys now than I can keep track of. I can't believe how many of my colleagues or peers from college are now attorneys. I have no idea what they do. But, I mean, there's still a lot of attorneys out there. This is why there's a lot of attorneys and why there will always be successful real estate agents. This is, imagine, you guys are all professionals in this space, and I'm sure that your head's spinning a little bit based off, just after hearing all the options that HomeLight can offer you. Now imagine that multiplied by 300 companies out there that are marketing to these sellers, telling them this is the best option for you. That's how they feel like. That's what they feel like. And they need help. They're drowning. They need people that understand these options, that vetted the options, the charlatans from the real McCoys, so to speak, and they need help. They're drowning, and that's where y'all come in. The question there's 3 simple questions that I like to ask when it comes to business, when it comes to disruption, when it comes to anything. It's like, who do you want to serve? Dial it down, niche it down, figure out who it is. In this case, today we're talking about sellers, right? Just general sellers. We can get more niche than that. And then just ask yourself, what do they want and how can you give it to them? I mean, that's what Open Door did. They started this revolution, right? They figured out that sellers wanted something that the traditional real estate process wasn't giving them, and they went out and raised a boatload of money and now giving it to them on a mass scale. It's impressive. I already kind of blew this secret. We're going to focus on listings because listings are gold, inventory's tight. So we know we want to serve sellers. What do they want? What do the sellers want? And as of right now, again, blew the secret. Disruption's here to stay. They want the easy button. We have been trained like dogs to want what we want yesterday at the click of a button. I mean, that is how that is a trend that iBuyers have leaned into, right? And it's brilliant, and it's not going away. This is only, like, Amazon isn't adding time to their delivery. They're figuring out how they can get it to you in an hour. It's pretty bonkers. And what's happening right now in real estate with all these tech companies is just starting. I mean, the disruption in real estate. How long has Open Door been around, Tyler?
6 years.
6 years. That's roughly the start, I think. I think you guys kind of were the trailblazers. How long has Amazon been around? Pretty damn sure longer than that. I think about 15, 20?
25.
All right. Thank you. Somebody can help correct my random ass guesses. These companies are, this is what was, when I figured this out in my own head, this was what completely changed my mindset for our business model. These companies have absolutely changed the game in the consumer's mind. They have billions of dollars to advertise and to steal, buy, whatever you want to call it, market share in our real estate markets that is educating consumers to want this more. I've been doing this world of, I've never called it iBuying before, but it was iBuying since 2012. And back then, I mean, we lived in we felt like the black market. It was like shadow world. The world, most sellers, if you had a seller that wanted a cash offer, they did it behind the scenes. They didn't want to tell anybody about it, and it was embarrassing. Now, it ain't happening that way anymore. First off, there's COVID, which completely shifted even the iBuyer's understanding of the iBuying market. Sellers now are way less inclined to want people in their house. They want it done quickly without people trampling all over their stuff and getting all their nasty germs all over the place. So this just enhanced what Amazon started with the game of ease. This was a survey done by a company called 1000 Watt. They were hired by Inman. And they surveyed a random group of 600 home sellers that they thought was a good enough, it was across country, so not geographically designated, and they thought it was a good enough representation of the home seller market. This was just done in July. 70% found the traditional sales process stressful. Between very stressful, 34%, and stressful, 36%, total 70. Over 70% said they would respond positively to the typical iBuyer pitch of selling fast with little hassle. Are you kidding me? That was 5% in 2012. No joking, this is a massive shift in the market. Okay, so I want to touch on some other things here. Why I feel more comfortable about our model. Not as scalable as some of the other ones. It's going to take a lot of friggin' work, but these people have also changed the game since in our world of consumer trends. They have, most everybody wants to find things in life, and they want it inspired by Chip and Jo. That's what they want their house to look like. They have no idea how to do it themselves. They have no idea how to hire a contractor. They have no idea how to pick out designs or most millennial buyers. Right, I'm in this embarrassing bunch. You pick up a hammer and we're freaking dangerous. We know how to use a keyboard and that's about it. That wasn't the case 20 years ago. The Gen Xers and baby boomers of the world, they better, generally speaking, yes, this is a stereotype, better with their hands. They knew more about how to get stuff done around the house. But everybody wants what Chip and Jo can create, they just don't know how to do it anymore. And that is driven by millennials. That is a more, again, embarrassing bunch. We don't say we'd rather overspend and go get Pottery Barn stuff than go to Walmart if we're on a budget. But the millennials right now, according to this back in 2020, they're the biggest buying generation. You all know this because you've been in the space. But they're, this wave of millennial buyers is started and it's just now continuing to grow. Coupled with incredibly low interest rates, we're at the 2.75 last I checked, and that's going to jump back up. But I don't think we're the market in lending has changed forever as well. The efficiency, the dollar moves around, and the transparency involved, and I don't think we're going to really see above 5%. I'm not willing to bet my life on it, but I'd be shocked to see it go above 5%, just because of how the monetary system has changed. And then you got this thing, which is also going to change the game for iBuyers. This is just in Q1 2021, $1.9 trillion of homeowner equity gain. that's funny money to these people. They never expected that. They're gonna trade that for an easy offer, more likely now than ever before. And couple that with, again, the reason, speaking to our niche in this space is, you got millennial home buyers that are willing to pay a premium for a fixed up house. You got low interest rates, so it's honestly easier for them to pay more and finance it than it is to buy it and then do it themselves afterwards. And because of that, we are seeing a huge premium on fixed up houses. We're getting more than new homes nowadays. We would always, if there was any new home developments in an area we were buying, I used to discount those by 10%, and we wouldn't factor in our value more than that. That has changed. We are now seeing, because new homes are generally coming with basic packages and not looking like Chip and Jo, if we do the full shebang, we are now, that might change when interest rates go up a little bit. I don't think so though, because nobody knows how to hire a contractor. Whenever I talk, I don't even like hiring a contractor, I am a contractor. I'm just gonna go back to the same quote I started with. What we need to do is always lean into the future. When the world changes around you, when it changes against you, what used to be a tailwind is now a headwind. I'm using iBuying as an example, but there's going to be a new thing. And the great thing, the lucky thing about you guys is that John and Kelly are ahead of this, right? They're providing these options and trying to stay ahead of these trends. But just in case you ever need it, just follow the reasoning behind why trends are doing what they're doing, and figure out how you can provide that service, that want for the customer to them. And really, if you ever find yourself complaining, then you need to take a break and get in a different headspace. So, I'm going to step back over here. Let's just give them what they want. Again, another Bezos quote. In the old world, you devoted 30% of your time to building a great service and 70% of your time shouting about it. How true is that in real estate? I mean, I have seen amazing marketers blow up here in San Diego and get into super agent status, doing hundreds of deals a year. And I've seen them fall apart over the last couple of years. And that's because they have ignored the service aspect of their business, and they've just focused on how to be the best marketer, and that doesn't work anymore. I changed this up this morning, so now I'm all thrown up. So sourcing your iBuying solution. John and Kelly have already done that, right? There's options here, but there's Open Door, there's HomeLight, there's us, and if that's not good enough for you, you go on social media and they're freaking everywhere. Just ask, and you'll get an annoyingly large amount of direct messages. Be ready. The key. Okay, well, again, I thought this was a different order. When you have it, you can tell the world about it, right? This is Daniel Beer, obviously a great example of a super agent here in San Diego, and I know he focuses a lot on his service, and that's on his top menu on his website, right? I mean, he's leaning into the trend. This is another agent. You all might recognize it. I think he's one of the ones that the service aspect of the business is suffering, but great marketing. There's another one, really fuzzy picture. That's John Glush's son. That looks like shit on and luckily for you guys, you guys have a lot of resources around you, and a lot of this stuff is just coming to you. But this is just an example of an easy, you can go hire someone to do this for you. Probably in a half a day, and start running ads and generate your own leads if you really want it. Expensive as all get out, but it's there, and it works because people are looking for it. I'm gonna skip this, but it kind of relates to the Kelly's point of giving options. The sellers want options, but they want options curated for them for what they want, right? You gotta be a doctor. You gotta be a really high-end attorney. You gotta be a really good financial advisor. And in this case, you gotta be a really good real estate professional. You gotta listen to what is the underlying motivation, what is the underlying desire and need of the client, and then give them some options to accomplish that. Traditional sale is always part of it, but okay. Final thoughts. So know your numbers. I'll skip to the end here. I've got so know your numbers and get an idea of repair costs. Like if you're gonna deal with houses, at least in our space, you know, if what we do in real estate profession, right? We work with a product, we work with houses. If you're going to do a lot of business, I highly recommend buyers or sellers. You need to get an understanding of what repair costs are, just at least to advise clients what to expect when they're looking at houses. And then know your numbers when it comes to, you know, the iBuying world. I've got 2 things to help with this. John can send you these later. You can email me. I mean, you don't need to go through this, but if you want to, it's super easy. I have an offer, a really dumbed down offer analyzer sheet to help you understand the numbers behind cash offers if you're seeing them. A really simple inspection sheet that lines up directly with this renovation budgeting form that, now I will admit, and I'll try to go back in there before any of these go out. If I update them, I'll send you an update. The construction costs have gone bonkers. I did update this back in April, so I got a lot of it, but still to this day, construction costs have gone way up. So I'll try to update it. And if you get a version and I update it after, I'll look you up and I'll email you the new one. But millions of dollars of mistakes in these forms. You know, we use some version of these still, and you know, just I think it'll be there to help if you want it. So that's it. We are an option. I mean, again, we're focused mainly on beyond just the typical carpet and paint type work. But because, like I mentioned, we're getting a premium on the back end, I'm always surprised at what we can offer these days, and I fight with my acquisition team all the time. So, thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm here. Yeah.
Well, I just want to speak to that real quick, because what does that mean to you as an agent? What's in it for you? How do you make money then with Brian? And kind of what he talked about of just seeing what's coming down, what's already happening, and just being a part of it, going with the trend rather than being resistant towards it, is hit me like a ton of bricks when I went on one appointment last June or July with Brian, and it was a seller that would not allow anyone into their home, had high anxiety, didn't want the neighbors to know that they were selling. It was kind of that behind the scenes in the shadow, and we were able to create a solution. Now, as a real estate agent, Brian was able to pay me 2% on the acquisition, and then I relisted it for 2%. So that's a reverse double in. You know, it's the same thing as you going to get a seller and then finding the buyer and double ending the property. Now, he created a better product for the neighborhood, which also then gives the neighborhood equity, and you look like kind of a local hero, and then you can go market around that. But in terms of what does that mean for you right now, you get paid 2% in 7 to 10 days on that cash, on that closing, and then you get to go relist a beautiful home, and he's got a high integrity team that works extremely hard, which means my life is a lot easier. Now, when I realized this, how easy it was like, holy crap, I need to find more of these. So I found Brian maybe, I think 8 properties in the last 12 months. I've made about $300,000 off of that. Okay, so there's money on the agent side of bringing an option, and these are options that Open Door and HomeLight will not buy. There was one mold growing halfway up the walls, animals that were not supposed to be living there were living in the house. Now, unfortunately, this individual had mental illness,
and his option was to sell to Brian, or his house was going to be condemned and getting kicked out and living on the streets. Brian was still gave him $500,000. So he got $500,000 for owning this home. Yes, it was destroyed, but it was an option. The other option was a bank coming and taking, or the city condemning the property. So it's a better option. Another one, quick story. I got word of a family friend that said they were going to have an investor come pitch their house or give them a cash offer. And I was like, wait. Let me bring somebody as well. And then just getting to know who the other person was, seeing their business card, I was like, oh, this is going to be easy, because they wanted the convenience factor. They inherited the property. 2 sisters inherited the property. I said, here's what we're going to do. Whatever he offers you, because I knew he was a wholesaler, and I just knew how that industry works. Whatever he offers you, I'm going to get Brian to offer you $10,000 to $15,000 more. And that's what we did. They were going with the cash offer, whether I had introduced them to Brian or not. So that was happening. So it's how do you be a part of that and then do something good for your seller? How do you serve that seller? Well, I got that seller $15,000 extra, and every one of the properties that I've brought Brian have been grand slams because of what he talks about at the end, knowing your numbers, something that I talked about with my team yesterday. Being in the MLS, running ARV, after rehab value, looking at properties, looking at neighborhoods, knowing your numbers. Sometimes in real estate, we get a little bit of the entitlement factor, and that we can just work for like 30 minutes, 60 minutes a day and try to make $1 million. That's kind of what goes through 90% of real estate agent mind. If you're in the MLS, if you're driving around looking at properties, looking at projects, asking questions of how much does that cost, looking at neighborhoods, looking at trends, you can run numbers, and now I can look at a property and within 7 minutes I know the ARV, the rehab cost, and now I can present different options for that seller and just be the expert, be the high-end lawyer, the financial advisor, what real estate agents used to look like in the 70s and 80s, and then this trend has happened. Well, we have an opportunity again to just be this high-end person because of knowledge, if you choose to hone your skills.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, thanks guys. Appreciate it. Let's hear it for
My name's Dixon. I've been with Open Door since the earliest days. I joined in May of 2016. Bossy, I want to say, is he still in the room? Where's he gone?
He's outside.
I'll compliment him while he's outside. Great hype man. I was really excited seeing all those programs they have. It's amazing to see all of this starting to come to fruition. Brian as well. None of us, between the 3 of us, are, in my view, each other's competition, right? HomeLight is in no way, shape, or form Open Door's competition. We do very different things. We do it in service of the transaction, the customer, and the agent. But the fact that we have different flavors of different things is only a net positive for the overall consumer base. So prior to Open Door, I was a realtor. I did general brokerage and then some new home sales and development for some small to mid-sized builders. Prior to that, I was a public school teacher in a different life. And I fell into Open Door sort of ass backwards by accident very early on. And they called me and said, hey, we'd love for you to join the team. We have a really big problem we need you to help us solve. We need you to help us figure out how to buy homes from the MLS. How do we actually buy homes from agents? Because at that point, we were just trying to proof of concept. Could we actually buy homes directly from consumers in a few simple clicks? We started getting some traction at that time. And by traction, I mean we were buying like 40 houses a month in Phoenix. We had just launched Dallas and we're buying a few homes there. And agents had no idea what to think about us, right? So naturally the assumption was we're going to be the Expedia of real estate. We're here to eliminate real estate agents. We're here to bypass them, but regardless of what it is, it's a threat. Presentations like this is like such a different thing today. In 2016, I went to present to the biggest KW office in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They typically had around 50 to 75 people at their monthly sales meetings. They found out I was coming. We had over 250 people sitting on the floor packing out a conference hall, and I stood there for almost 4 hours, getting pelted with questions, accusations, threats, everything else. So regardless of what happens today, there's nothing you can throw at me that I haven't heard worse before. And so what does all of this actually like translate to? Over the last 5 years, we've serviced over 100,000 customers in the US. Your customers can close on average 3 times faster when selling to Opendoor. And the numbers speak for themselves in terms of our NPS score. So NPS is the Net Promoter Score. Think that as like a customer satisfaction rating. This is widely used in a ton of different industries. You probably see it all the time on your own websites. If something ever pops up and says, how likely are you to recommend this product or service to a friend or family member? That's an NPS question. Right? It's a singular question. And our NPS score is stellar. Customers love the experience and the variety they get by being able to sell to Opendoor. All right, so 2 of the most common myths. Basio, you're back. I gave you compliments earlier.
Did you? Thanks, man. I take a call, man, but I want to come and listen. I'm sorry for being late.
Yeah, it's cool. So the first myth, right? Opendoor makes lowball offers and high fees. Anybody here on Facebook? Right, I avoided it, like, yeah, I've been on it in years, but especially in the beginning, I had spent a lot of time on Facebook, but that's where a lot of agents were chatting about us. And so the most common thing you hear is, well, they're just going to rip equity away from your sellers, right? They're going to lowball them, they're going to charge them 10, 20% undervalue, and then they'll charge them 10, 20% in fees, and then watch out when they come inspect it, because then they're going to want another 20 grand on repairs, right? Like, why would you ever put your seller through that? Well, in 2019, independent research group studied over 20,000 iBuyer transactions across the US, found that the average iBuyer transaction was less than 1% off market price, right? Which, in exchange for choosing your closing date, having a risk-free transaction, right? With us, you can cancel anytime. Call us the day at close. Hey, situation changed. We're not going to sell. Okay. No harm, no foul. Right? Nobody else is doing that. I'm getting iBuyer offers on our house. Like I said, we're looking to move. So I'm seeing what OfferPad's experience is like, what Zillow's experience is like, and you start having to make all these trade-offs, right? Somebody's offer might be a little higher, but they're like, look, unless you die, we're going to make you close. And I go, okay, well, there's no guarantee I'm going to find a house in the next 60 days, so I don't know if that's a risk I'm willing to take. Zappy put out their mid-year report where they find iBuyers are purchasing on average 104% of value this year. Right? Could you reasonably tell a seller, I've got a cash buyer, I think if we list your house, we listed at $600 today, I got a cash buyer who'll come in and pay $615 on the spot. Should you not show your client that offer just because they've got a big blue logo that you don't like seeing their signs in the yard? Right? If another agent from EXP had a cash buyer percent, you'd want to show that offer, right? So our offers are good. Our offers are really good right now. And it'll always change, right? Our job is to be hyper diligent in pricing economics, right? That's where it all happens. We have to walk a super tight rope. If we pay too much for houses, we're gonna lose our assets and we'll shut down. If we offer too low, nobody's gonna sell to us, right? We have to be like on the money. We have world-class talent, data scientists, economists, some of the most impressive people you've ever seen are all figuring out how do you actually price a home in real time and how do you dynamically change that in every neighborhood in America simultaneously. Second myth, agents won't get paid if they work with Opendoor, right? They're just taking us out of the deal. We're not going to get paid. It just doesn't make sense, right? Even if the offer's good, I'm not a martyr, right? I'm going to self-sacrifice myself over and over and over within a market. So how do you actually get paid with Opendoor? For starters, it's your client, right? You and your seller have pre-negotiated commission, whatever your commission is, or just buyer. I'm not gonna know what they pay you, I don't care what they pay you, or what, whether they're paying you in, cash or cheeseburgers, I don't care, right? That's yours. If you bring us a seller who we haven't recently engaged with, essentially if that seller hasn't requested an offer from us directly in the last 30 days, we're gonna pay you 1% on that deal, on top of your seller paid commission. Okay, on your third deal with us in a year, we'll give you a $5,000 incentive and commission. And every transaction after that, you're gonna get incrementally more money. Okay. 10th transaction, we'll give you another $5,000. You get 1,500 every deal after that. You get to your 20th transaction, we'll give you 10 grand. So you can make greater than your pre-negotiated commission, not have to get the house show ready, save yourself money on your listing costs, not have to risk that falling through, turn them into a buyer, help them go out non-contingent and find that next house and get paid over there too. So again, you keep your commission. This is like and flash forward back a couple of years, it wasn't quite this way. Originally, we sort of had a thing of like, look, if you're getting paid by your seller, you're getting paid by your seller. As the buyer, we're not paying you, right? Buyers don't do that. If you're not getting paid by your seller, we'll pay you 1%, right? We'll consider that like a referral. Today, however, you get both. You get the best of both worlds. Okay. The only restriction on that 1%, remember, is if that seller requested an offer from us in the most recent 30 days, it's the only thing that wouldn't qualify for that. If you're providing agency for that deal, you're the procuring, reason that we are transacting with that seller, we want to pay you 1%. And then, like I said, we launched the Agent Access Program a few weeks ago, mid-July, where now sort of volume-based incentives. The more sellers you bring us within a year, the more you get on each of those deals. So let's just look at like one transaction example, right? Do you even have $400,000 houses in San Diego? All right. So
I think there's 3 condos for sale.
Okay.
I can find one for you.
All right. Okay. So say $400,000 house, you negotiate, you have 3% commission with your seller. You end up bringing them the open door offer. They take it. You're going to get 12 grand from the seller. You can get an extra 4 grand from us. And if that happens to be the third deal you're doing with us, that's another $5K. That's $21,000 or 5% on that one deal. Right? So regardless of price point, you can do 4 to 5% on every deal by introducing open doors to that buyer.
We're doing that. Like that's we make more on every open door deal. It's one of the reasons we work so hard to get them done. Not only are they better for the customer, we make more on them every time.
Yeah. So to kind of take it more big picture, we've paid over $300 million in commissions and referrals since 2014. The great majority of this actually happening in the last like 2 years, right? As we have now been in more markets, had more expansion. Remember my job when I started 5 years ago was figuring out how to buy like the first house from an agent, right? We were doing this thousands of times over. To translate that, that's what, like $13 billion in GMV that's coming through agents in the last few years. So quick overview of what our actual experience looks like for you as the agent. We think of this the new way to win a listing. And Basio, I'm going to come back to your compliments now.
Do it.
So I was heaping praise on your programs. I think they're amazing. Like I said, when I was standing in that room in Dallas with just some fired up people in there, I told them, I said, look, everything is changing. Right? The world is evolving faster than you think it is. And what's changing is the agent's role is no longer a single service provider. Right? You're no longer someone who shows up at the listing sign in a yard and has a magic key that nobody else can use. Right? The role of the agent is to be a consultant and to help find what is the best way for each person to be able to move. And at that time, we were the only sort of alternative option. Right? I said, you don't get it. We had major institutional investment in Open Door. We broke the mold for Wall Street, VC, all this billions of dollars floating around in investments, we sort of cracked the code on burning that new cookie cutter, right? So whether Opendoor thrives or whether Opendoor fails, there's going to be billions of dollars invested in the residential real estate space, and there are going to be more and more new models and new opportunities that come up. And so you as the agent can either stand in the corner and say, but I have my for sale sign and I deserve my commission and nobody's ever going to replace me. Or for each seller you can walk in and be the market expert and say, look, I've got a whole menu of options for you as a seller. I've got a whole other menu of options for you as a buyer. And we're going to put all the plumbing together to make sure that you get the best experience at the best price that fits your unique situation. That's the role of the agent. And I said that in 2016, they didn't care, right? Look at it today. How many options are out there?
Tons.
Right? You showed that map, the diagram, that was a couple years old, times 3. Right? So whether they're buying, selling, trading in, buy plus, whatever they want, right? They can do it. And it's on you, because you're the one who they're going to consult with, to know how to actually put all these custom packages together. Right? With HomeLight's programs and our programs, like I said, we're not competition. He's not my competition. We do one very specific thing, right? They have programs, they don't all fit the same person, right? But you are the one who's meeting all the different people in all the different situations. And for where HomeLight fits, amazing. Where Opendoor fits, great. Where Brian fits, great. But you're the one at the center who's going to be the one to be able to help match make these options to these clients. Right? $1.5 trillion TAM in this country. Right? There's plenty of room for HomeLight and us and everyone else to coexist and grow and thrive along with agents without putting anybody out of business. So we think about the combination of the two. Being able to have additional options along with your listing is the way you both set yourself apart, and you make sure that essentially no lead is CAC accretive. Right? There shouldn't be a such thing as a lost lead. Right? You have an option for every lead that you capture, and you should be able to generate revenue off of that in some form or fashion.
I think that's the most frustrating thing for me, being in the industry for 7 years. I look like the previous 5 years to last year, how many deals I lost because I didn't have multiple options. Walking in and saying, I only can accept a cash offer, no one's allowed in my house. I'd be like, shit, nothing I can do, see ya. Like, there's
but if
so
you could
many
have
more.
flipped that around and made 1% off of that,
Oh, yeah.
you do it all day long.
Can't go broke making a profit.
Yes. So, quick overview of our offer process. We can give you, you're going to come in, opendoor.com, right? Want to know questions about the features and conditions of the home. We're going to give you a number on the spot. It's our preliminary number. Think of that as like the midpoint range between what we're estimating our final offer number to come in at. Home assessment. You can do this as self-serve for agents. You don't have to get on some pre-scheduled video call with one of our reps somewhere and go through the whole process, right? You're already there. You're at the listing appointment. You can capture all the information we need and you just upload it right into your dashboard. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this cash buyer I've got is going to need to come out. They're just going to do a quick walk of the property. You don't even need to be home. They don't need to come inside. Just need to make sure the gate's unlocked. I'm seeing they can come, any time in the next 3 days between 10 and 12. Would one of those work? Great. Plug that in. Right? Schedule that exterior assessment. Give us a couple days. Get that done. Underwrite the house. We'll deliver to you, the agent, final cash offer. You'll know your net proceeds. The fee is 5%. Everyone's fee is the same today. Any repairs or repair credit we're seeking. And then all that has to happen from there is the seller picks their closing date, and that's it. Right? They're done. So they sign the contract, pick the closing date, make changes they need, let us know if they want to stay in the house for a while after closing. Yeah, like your job's done. So, and just sort of like a sample here of like how long this could take. Request the offer before your listing appointment. So day before, right? Get that spot price number. You're doing your analysis. You can come in with side by side, or if you're getting as you should be getting offers from HomeLight, Opendoor, Zillow, OfferPad. Pick any of the other 12 that might come out next week, right? Put all those options together. Advantage to advantage to me, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is I've got all these options for you. So here's what it would look like if we went to market and we listed this home. I've got some investors that I work with. I'm gonna work on bringing you a bunch of these cash offers. We're gonna have those for you before you ever actually have to commit and we go active on the MLS. There's a few things I'm gonna need to do. We're gonna take some pictures and stuff so they can get a better offer. They can make an informed offer for you. And then I'm gonna come back over the course of the next week and I'm gonna put all these offers in front of you. Right? So you can meet with the seller. You're getting the photos and the videos and stuff you need. We're going to do our assessment, a day or two after that. We'll get you the offer, and then with that offer, your seller's going to have at least a week, right, that offer is valid. Right? So then you're able to come back to the table and be like, look, I've got a whole deck of cash offers for you. Now let's talk to the trade-offs, because there are going to be some differences in some of these. We've got this one, the Opendoor offer. He's going to charge 5% fee. They want a $2,000 in a repair credit. You're going to pick your closing date, and there's no penalty if something changes and we want to cancel the deal later. And you're going down the line with each of your cash offers, right? The process is simple. Right? Most of the work is done before they actually get the offer in hand. Once you have the offer in hand, you're pretty much clear to close from that point. Any questions?
On myth 1, talking about costs, right? And then did I just hear you say something about 5%? Can you explain what it does cost a seller?
Yeah, so we, every offer is structured the same, right? When I offer a price, our money is made essentially on the service fee. We charge a 5% service fee to all sellers. The best way to think about that service fee is it's broken into 2 buckets. One is, and for this example, just think we're transacting directly with the seller, right? So half of that essentially is going to be the co-broke that we're collecting from the seller to offer to the buyer's agent who's going to bring us the end buyer, right? Our job is just to replace the seller at the point in which they're ready to go on market, right? So we're gonna offer a co-broke. We don't make money on that. We just collect it from the seller. The other half of that fee goes into all of our operations, right? So 2 to 2.5%, that covers all of our assessors, all of our pricing people like me, right? Everything in between, and actually the operations of moving that house from acquisition through resale. Closing costs in each market, we just sort of follow what the norm is in terms of who's paying for what. And repair credited again is based on what we believe we need to do to get that house, we would call it clean, safe, and functional. Right? So anything that needs to get us up to that category and get it in market ready, we're going to need to address. And so we'll ask the seller for that in the form of a repair credit. So that's essentially it on that. Does that help answer the question?
So escrow and title, standard per the market, not part of the 5%.
Correct.
And
so that's separate. So you'll see it on your offer dashboard. It'd be like offer price $750, service fee 5%, repairs are like 1% or none, right? I mean, we're also a buyer in this market, so we know we're not asking for much on repairs, if at all. And then the closing costs.
And then are you doing termite inspection, termite clearance? Is that part of your exterior walk around or no? Cool.
Service providers, so do the agents get to choose who they use? Do you guys have in-house title and escrow? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so we'll pitch title on the offer each time. We have, in most of our markets, aside from California, we have our own title with OS National, who we acquired a couple of years ago. In California, we have a handful of different title partners that we work with. We're gonna use it the majority of the time. However, there are some situations and stuff where somebody needs another title company, and we're willing to do that.
How do you push title to Fidelity National? That's what.
Oh, right there. I have a long story history.
And that's only title escrow we can approve.
You'll see it come on the offer in terms of who we're using.
So sorry, real quick, are you guys using California like RPA, and is there counters, or is it like this is it? We're not.
Yeah,
using,
everything's
like,
on the local forms.
It is. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Negotiable? I mean, what happens if they want to negotiate after we?
We don't do that. We lead with our highest and best, right? If we had room to increase that offer, then we'd be breaking our own promise to our customers, and that our job is to put more money in a customer's hands. Now, where the value of you comes in though, is that because we show you the offer and we show you the comps we use, right? So you might come back and be like, hey, this comp right here, I know it's close, right? But it actually isn't a fit. Here's why. Here's some other comps, right? You have that power to help inform us. And if we go, yeah, we can put confidence behind that, we'll adjust the offer. So we don't negotiate, but we do review, and we will modify based on that. And I think that's like one of the biggest things that the agent can provide in that regard is as much, combination of what you have between data science and professional humans doing pricing and everything else. Having that local expert who truly knows the difference between this street and this street and this street helps make us smarter, right? So if we can buy houses, like we want to pay as much as possible. I know it's like weird to think of for a buyer to want to pay as much as possible, but as long as we can turn around and hit that mark when we resell it, that's good for the customer and it's good for us.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Aaron. I appreciate it. Thank you. Applause. I've been really hammering this lately on all the videos I'm doing, is relationships. Like, the key is the relationships you develop in these kind of settings, so that the Open Door team knows if the Dutch Group writes an offer, it's a done deal. Like, we're not messing around. So we're creating those relationships, and back to the whole thing we've been talking about today, which is like, at the end of the day, we want to be the high-skilled, high relational capital attorney, real estate agent. That's what we want to do. So hopefully this helped equip you to do that today. You got some great insights. Thank you for coming, you guys. Want to honor your time, let everybody go. But we will send some follow-up materials out after this. There'll be some additional training, but this hopefully gets your mind going a different direction and gives you some new ideas. So thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.